Okay, so this next part is quite complicated. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to just show you what the finished script looks like and then walk through a few of the things that I changed. So I recommend that you just look at some of the finished script and see what it is, because I'm technically bouncing back and forth between scripts at this point and moving up and down on the script, so it's a little bit harder to follow. So what is finished in this one, I'll just show you here. So I have my scene. I can click, and now I can actually teleport around the scene. So that's what we are finishing in this one. So how did I do that? Well, I'm going to go back to my player free teleport controller, and I'm just going to walk through some of the things that I've done. So one of the first things is I want to be able to add a new private variable, and I want to keep track of whether we are showing our reticle or not. So I went ahead and under reticle, the private variable for reticle had keep track of whether we were showing or not, and added a bool that says is showing. Next, we do want to go down a little bit farther, and where we have our private void awake under our hide target, have hide by default is showing false. So when we are not, we are going to originally hide our thing by default, and then if it's not showing, if it is showing, that should equal false. So I also added this underneath the reticle find object of type. So far we've added the bool is showing, and additionally the is showing equals false underneath our hide target. Additionally, in our public hide target, we are going to add update our flag, which basically we're going to additionally say is showing equals false here. So we've done three different things. Bool is showing at the top, hide by default is showing equals false, and then once more is showing equals false down in our public void. And finally, our last one is underneath our target.transform.position. We are doing another is showing, but this one is equals true, because if the target is active, that is true, then we are also showing it, which equals to be true. So I've added that in there as well. Our last thing for this portion is if we are showing our reticle, so the reticle that we currently have, but now it's far away, we could then hide it. So we are adding an else if. So else if is showing, then our hide target. Okay. Once you get this far, save your script, and then we will add an additional variable of teleportation. So in our teleportation is going to be down here at the very bottom. This is probably the easier part in this scripting element. It's just that middle part that gets a little confusing with the bools. So once we get all of that done, you're going to go ahead and add your teleportation script section, and we're going to give a public void variable. So if our element is showing, then our player position is equal to that target position. So we're wanting to teleport to that target position. So what you need to do is type a transform.position, which will then be equal to the target.transform.position. Once we get there, we then hide our target once again. This element as well, since it is public, so if I was to go ahead and save this and then go back to my teleportation zone, originally, and I'll just go back here before I change this, under our handle click, so remember we had a private void handle clicks. This is when we click down on our mouse or our controller. We want to finally add in our player control, and this is going to be teleport. And then save it. Once all of this is saved, you can then go back to your game, hit play, and you should ideally be able to teleport around the scene. And just to show that everything is working, I'm going to go ahead and add in some game components. just so I can see that I'm teleporting around something. There we go. So now if I hit play, okay, so I can teleport around, and I'm just clicking and moving around the object. In the next tutorial, I will show you how to create the arch. That shows you where you're going to teleport. However, the arch is not necessary at this point. If you can teleport any place in your scene, that would count as teleportation and might work just as well in your scene overall.